Hi guys, welcome to Channel Madness. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Fulgrim the Illuminator. I'll be going over his model and his rules in the book Horus Heresy, Legion Astartes, Age of Darkness Legion. So obviously if there are updated rules or they change, I won't know because I'll be going through these rules that I have here. So Fulgrim the Illuminator, the Phoenician, the Perfecter of Chemos, and High Lord of the Emperor's Children. Man, he's got a lot of titles. He's obviously a dainty looking. He's probably the dainty looking Primarch. At this point, most people will know who Fulgrim is. He's a lot more of one of the more famous traitor Primarchs than some of the others. I do hope we get obviously a demon Primarch model version of him, like we do of Magnus and Mortarion. I would love to see that. But model-wise, as you can see here, or to go through and see on Forge World, it was the first sort of two-part stand model that obviously is supposed to be him and Furious Manus together. They obviously make their battle scene of the great battle on Istvan 5, with the tragic ending of obviously Furious Manus himself. It is interesting to note that during that battle, obviously Fulgrim doesn't wield a firebrand, and I don't think actually the start of the battle, Furious Manus doesn't have the hammer. They actually have different versions, alternate. They actually wield each other's weapons. Obviously, with Fulgrim wielding the hammer, and Furious Manus wielding a broken yet reforged version of firebrand. The symbolism of their weapons that he had. But obviously the models sort of fit together to give you that sort of two-part split. And I think the model that we see is a very accurate representation of all the artwork we've had previously of Fulgrim. Obviously with his giant eagle pauldron and like his sort of gold and all his sort of I don't know really the dainty sort of emblems and etchings and the very sort of the perfect vibe that we get from Fulgrim as a whole. It did feel like they got spot on when they designed the model himself and the way it was supposed to. Him, he looks very regal, very agile, very quick, very good design. Yeah. And obviously in the model, he's wielding a sword, which can either be used as firebrand or the blade of Lear. So we'll go through the rules wise. And like I said, he's 380 points. It's not the most expensive Primarch, and it's like I think it's one of the lowest point ones. So they're all about this point there. His unit's composition is just one. He's an infantry character. And whatnot. He's got the Primarch special rule, which is just basically a subset of a whole bunch of other rules. Independent character, Eternal Warrior, Fear, Adamantium Will, Fleet, Fearless, It Will Not Die, Master of the Legion, Precision Strike, and Precision Shot. And then he has the Sire of the Emperor's Children, Bulky, Sublime Swordsman, and Strategy Planning. And he's got a bunch of war gear that give him a whole bunch of different abilities: the Gilded Panoply, the Blade of Lear, Firebrand, and Plasma and Crack Grenades. And he can only be taken up part of a traitor force unless you want to play pre-heresy and make him loyal. His weapon skill 8, ballistic skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, wounds 6, initiative 8, 5 attacks, leadership 10, and he has a 2+ save. So his special rules, because he's the Sire of the Emperor's Children, Fulgrim has the Crusader special rule and must always accept and issue challenges in combat so long as a potential opponent in the challenge has weapon skill 5 or higher. So basically if somebody has weapon skill 5 or higher, he must always accept and issue challenges. That may be one most people forget. Like they might not really realize that you have weapon skill 5 character, I have to issue a challenge. Which obviously you don't want to do. If Primarch's issuing a challenge, at least their option to obviously opt out for it. But if you accept it, you have to fight Fulgrim. In addition, while Fulgrim is present on the battlefield, all units with the Legion Astartes Emperor's Children special rule, as well as Fulgrim himself, gain +2 to their combat resolution, and any reserve rolls made for units with the Legion Astartes Emperor's Children special rule may be re-rolled if the owning player wishes, whether successful or unsuccessful. There's a lot of words for me and I don't actually understand what, so I'll just go. So 2+ to the combat resolution roll. So I think that's obviously at the end of the combat resolution, not like obviously to flee. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I played and looked at the rules. And any reserve rolls made for the studies, reroll. So you can reroll your reserve rolls, whether successful or unsuccessful. Alright. He is a sublime swordsman, so Fulgrim's skill as a duelist and swordsman is beyond that of any mortal warrior or even Legion Astartes. What about Lucius? Hey, yeah, I assume so. In the assault, Fulgrim's invulnerability save is increased to 3+, so basically in close combat it's a 3+. In addition, when fighting in a challenge, he gains a number of additional attacks equal to the amount which his initiative value is greater than that of the opponent. So, for example, if he fights an enemy with initiative value of 5, Fulgrim initiative 8, he gets 3 additional attacks. So basically, because he's faster, he gets a bunch of bonus attacks for being faster than that person, which can be nice. And just remember, he gets the invulnerable save. His invulnerable save is increased to 3+. He gets a standard 4+, but he gets which is increased to basically 3+ when he's in close combat or assault. He has strategic planning. Fulgrim's Art of War focuses around the perfect execution of pre-planned strategies and tactics, enabling him to adopt the battlefield and the foe he and his legion must encounter, enabling him to adapt to the battlefield and foe he and his legion must encounter. At the beginning of the game, a single warlord trait from either the strategy traits chart in the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook or the Legion warlord traits in this book may be chosen for Fulgrim. So you get to choose it gets a nice little warlord trait depending on how you want to play that game or what you're versing at that time, which I guess is nice. Now, part of his war gear, he has the Gilded Panoply. Fulgrim commonly enters the battle wearing an ornate suit of artificer armor designed to give him free rein to his phenomenal speed and agility. The Gilded Panoply provides Fulgrim with a 2+ armor save and a 5+ invulnerability save. I'm pretty sure all the Primarchs get a 2+ armor save because they're Primarchs and that's what they're expected to have. In the assault, in an assault owing to the Primarchs. So it says, note that this increased, his invulnerability save is increased to 3+ in assault due to his ability as a swordman, which we already went over. In addition, in assault, should Fulgrim pass any armor saves or vulnerability saves on a 6, the unit which inflicted the wound must pass an initiative test or suffer the effects of blind special wound. So that's nice, I guess. If he passes a save on a 6, then basically, I guess, say like your shield blinds you, or it's just fabulous, Now, the Blade of Lair. Fulgrim's choice of weapon is a slender two-handed sword given to him, it is said, by the War Master himself. The sword's quicksilver blade is able to slice stone as steel without It was by common repute reforged from the masterwork weapons of the Xenos Lair, but in truth may have a darker origin. It's a weird little story, snippet of Lair, because if you know his origins, the Blade of Lair came from the Temple of Lair, which is basically a temple dedicated to Slaanesh. But it says here the weapon given to them by the War Master South, that they're obviously referring to the Anathame that struck Horus down, which basically went all over the place. I think Lucius has it, what's the chaplain's name? Erebus. They have shards of it, so they had it at some point. But Blade of Lair, which my understanding is they were referring to it as the blade from the temple. The Blade of Lair is obviously range nil, strength as the user, so be strength 6 mostly, AP 2 at its melee, rending, specialist weapon, and it's two-handed. I'm not going to read those rules out, you can go look them up for yourself. But during the Great Crusade, Fulgrim wielded Firebrand, wrought for him by the hands of fierce menace. So in-game set with this era, rather than the Blade of Lair, he's equipped with a master-crafted Paragon Blade, which inflicts its murderous strike on a 5+. And he also carries Firebrand, one of a number of arms Fulgrim carries as his mood took him. Firebrand is a master-crafted Volkite Charger, which also has the Shred Special rule. So those are all the rules that Fulgrim has. It does seem like it's a bit of a letdown for a Primarch, especially one of Fulgrim's status. But still okay, I suppose. It would have been nice to see a little bit more come from the sword, the demon sword. Like, you know, it did have a demon in it, or well, I mean, it did, and then he became part demon, so it would have been nice to see some of that interaction into the rules itself. And maybe a different option that when he wants to carry, obviously, the inner thing, but obviously they just had to make stock standard sort of rules. I think this is the Emperor's Children Legion as a whole, and I'm talking the model wise. I think they're one of the most beautiful and ornately designed legions out there, and I very much wanted to make an army around them, just based on how obviously how much they were just modeled, because they have the Lord Commander Eidolon. As much as I didn't like the character, I think his model was also equally beautiful. Even you know, his Terminator squads, even the Palatine blades, I think they were also beautifully designed. And I think anyone who obviously wanted to have a stunning looking army, just ornate. This is a great legion. I think it would have been one of the only traitor legions I would have thoroughly enjoyed modeling and building up. But you know, obviously being Kiwi, we're not made of money, and we can't afford it. Speaking of price, currently, if you want to hold your hands on Fulgrim from Forge World, it's going to set you back about $160, unless you can find it somewhere cheaper. I do believe that covers shipping now to the new way that Forge World have decided to do their pricing, and obviously a lot of people are upset with that. I might be one of them, I might not. I'm not going to get into that debate, but I completely understand if you can't just throw down nearly $200 on a single model, even as one as illustrious as Fulgrim himself. I completely understand, but he does, and the unfortunate thing is obviously if you get Fulgrim, then it would also pay to get Furious Manus, because the two go together. They create the story. So yeah, that is an unfortunate downside, because you would have to go double that price basically. But if you just wanted to wheel Fulgrim, he's very beautiful on his own. So it's entirely. I think, is it worth it? You decide. It's maybe before the prices change. Now that they're a little bit more expensive, it's hard to justify, to go out and spend that much money. But I thoroughly enjoy my Fulgrim up there. Purple is not a colour I'm comfortable painting, and so it's not one that I know a lot of, know how to handle. A lot of the colours I can master quite well. Purple is not really one I've tested myself on, so I'm not really comfortable. So I had my Fulgrim painted by a professional painter. And then I just did more, when I got it back, I did some more things. I just did some sort of things on it myself to make it fit my sort of standard. Mostly on base work. I did a little bit of work on I redid the sword, and I did the sort of the giant, the tethers or the Fury seals that come with the cloak, putting some script on there. But basically the armor and a lot of the cloak himself was done by somebody else. But yeah, so guys, that was my sort of review and personal feelings on Fulgrim Primarch of the Emperor's Children. And so if you like that, please watch some more model reviews, and remember to leave a comment. Also, please, if you can, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.